Okay, for winterizing of this RV, we're going to drain the water out of the system first. And first couple things that you do is you got to hit your low point drains. And there's two places for them. Open this up. There's 3 drains right here. So you just open them. Then you come over here. There's one more, and it's actually in here, and it's right here. So it's actually right there. So all you do is just turn the valve. And the water will start to drain. What it's doing is it's actually draining onto this, and then it just drains down and drains out. Now that that's going, we're going to drain the hot water tank. So open it up. There's a valve here that turns, you just turn this valve and the water's going to come out of it. To make it go faster drain, this is your pressure valve, and you just open that up. So what we're going to do, we're going to open this up, and it's going to start coming out. And you just let that go until all the water drains out. Once the water's drained out, you're going to shut the valve back. You're going to turn this pressure switch back to normal, and then that's all you got to do. Now we're going to go inside. Okay, now that we're in the bathroom, we're going to continue to drain the system, and all we're doing is opening up the hot and the cold water valves on the vanity, the shower, and then we'll flush the toilet. So in the shower, it's just as simple as this. Take this out, take this down, open up the hot water. You're going to see not much is going to come out. Open up the cold water, because the reason why not a lot of water is coming out, if any, is because we've drained it at the low points. But you see, you have to do this. So you do the cold, do the hot, then we come over to the toilet. Important, there's a sprayer on the side of the toilet. You have to make sure you do that one. Hold that, just like that. Just got to make sure. Then you're going to flush the toilet. And release. Close everything back up. And we're going to do the same thing at the kitchen faucet. Just turn on your cold. Nothing's coming out. Turn on the hot. Nothing's coming out. Again, because the water's already draining out of the low points. Shut this back off. Okay, so now the water's been drained out of the system. You see it's not coming out of the low point drain anymore. The hot water tank is barely trickling out. We're just going to let that go a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back, and we're just going to turn all the valves back to close. Right here, do the same at the one in the front. Close, and that's it. Now that the hot water tank is done draining, just going to take the valve and you're going to close it. You're going to close the pressure valve, and that's it. You don't have to do anything else to the hot water tank. All the water that was in the tank is now drained to the very bottom, and it's winterized. We don't have to do anything more with that. There is one thing over here with the valves. We have to turn the bypass. So there's a valve here, and a valve here. So what you do is you just do opposite what it is. You close this one, you open this one, and then you close this one. Now this is ready to run air through the system and winterize. Okay, so now we're going to run air into the system. So what we need to do is you need to get a small compressor. I actually borrowed this from someone in the campground, Greg Romer, Monty. What you need with that is you need this specific fitting right here. And it's just got a Schrader valve on it. You screw it into your city water connection. You set this to run at 40 psi because you don't want any more air than that to come into your lines because it'll hurt your lines. And then you just connect this onto the valve. So now there's air coming into this. Now we're actually going to run the air through the lines. Start in the bathroom first. I start in the shower. All you do is hold the wand, turn your hot water on or your cold on first. It doesn't matter, just one at a time. You'll hear the air come through. Very little water is coming through because we've drained the lines previously. But this is getting all the little bits of water out of the lines. You do that to each one. You let it run till it runs clean. You do that. You do your vanity. You'll hear that. That's the air going through the lines. There's no water coming through here. That's what you want. You do your hot. You do your cold. You go to your toilet. Flush the toilet. There's nothing but air coming through there. Very important. There's a wand on the side of this toilet. You got to press with this down. You got to hold it out here too. And any residual water that's in this wand and there's nothing coming out. It's all clean. But you got to do that too. And the last thing to do in the bathroom is this is equipped for a washing machine hookup. So we got a hot and a cold in here. So you hook up a separate hose. I just run it into a bucket. And you turn your valve. And you see the water that's coming through. And then you just do that again. Just for this one, I let it run for about 30 seconds to a minute. And then I shut it off. And that's gotten all the water out of this part. So now we're back in the kitchen. We've already done the bathroom. Now we're in the kitchen. We do the same thing. Hot water. So any little bit of water that was in the line has now, as you saw, came out. And you're hearing the air. Shut it. Cold water. This is equipped with a nozzle sprayer, so you do the same thing with the nozzle, just to make sure it's out. And now your sink is done. After all the sinks are done, there's a P-trap in this one and a P-trap in this one. There's a P-trap in the vanity and there's a P-trap in the shower. And all you do is you take a gallon of RV antifreeze. And you just put a little bit in to fill those traps up. We'll go into the vanity. Into your shower. And then you also add it into the toilet. And that is it. That's all you have to do. So you've now pulled all the water out of your lines and you are now officially winterized as far as the water portion of the RV. Okay, so now that we've got the air into all the lines, we've blown out all the lines of the water in the lines in the washing machine hookup, the shower, the vanity, the toilet, and the kitchen. Now that that's done and the air is unhooked from the system, now you want to make sure all your valves are open. So all we did is, this is a left and right, just put it in the middle. That leaves the air to stay in the system throughout the winter. You do the same thing in the bathroom. Just open up your hot and cold in the shower, the vanity. You can't do anything with the toilet. And then that's it. And the low point drains that we got earlier, there's 2 places. You open all those and you leave them open. The washing machine, same thing. You leave, there's 2 valves on those. You leave those open also. Very important that before you put water back into the system in the spring, you close all the valves first. And that is in the instructions. Okay, so now we're going to bring the slides in for the rest of the RV to complete the closing. We do the bedroom slide first. Just hit the in button on the top here. When the slide starts to make the clicking sound at the end of it, that tells you that you've brought it in as far as you can need to bring it in, and then you release the button. That's that. Okay, so now we're going to bring the slides in from the living room area, but first I need to talk about this. A few days ago, we shut the power off from the refrigerator. We defrosted it and cleaned it, and for the winter time, you leave the doors open. So I just wanted to touch upon that. So now we're going to do the slides. Kathy's going to make the slide come in, and then I'm going to use these pads because there's rollers under these, and it will leave a mark on the floor if you don't put the pads under the particular ones, and you'll see the ones I put them under. One thing to remember is when you initially do this, you might hear it beeping and like nothing's happening, and what's going on is it's trying to find its power source to power the slides to come in. Once it finds that, it's an intermittent thing, once it finds that, then the slides will move in. So go ahead, Kathy. So I hold the pads down until the rollers touch them, and then I walk with them. Now we do these. And the noise that you just heard at the end of that, that's what you wait for, and that's when you know the slides are completely pulled in.
And I only pressed driver's side in, and it pulled in the driver's side first, and then it automatically, I didn't have to hit the other button, it just automatically pulled in the curb side as well.
You don't have to use the other button to bring the slides in. Okay, so now that the slides are all moved in, we want to make sure they stay in, so we use slide locks, and I have 4 of them. Each slide lock goes just like this on each side of each slide. I'm going to demonstrate one of them, but they all go in the exact same way. The height that I use is about the height of your thigh. So all you do is you get it to the distance you want. You get it to where you want. These bend, however, and then this entire rod, all you do is turn it out. And what it does is it moves everything this way, so it tightens it. And you just keep going until you feel like you've got a really good snug fit, because it's certainly not going to go anywhere. At the end of the season, you're actually going to take it and just turn it opposite, and that loosens it, and then you remove the slide locks. Okay, so the last thing that I want to share with you, I'm just going to do a walk around and show you what is in each cubby and what's in there actually for right now. So we'll start in the front of the RV. So underneath here, there's one door. As you can see, there's some storage. Like here, and what I've actually left you is a little bit of paint, a bunch of rollers, a leveler, some pry bars, and then this is a miscellaneous thing of some tools. There's even a jigsaw in there. There's all kinds of stuff. An actual cordless drill that I do not need. Some more cordage that's sitting there. There's an extension cord. These 2 is where your batteries are. One of your batteries, second battery. This is your on-off switch, which is your main on-off switch that allows the power to come from the outside source actually into the RV. We're going to shut this off now because the RV is now winterized and it's going to be unplugged and we don't need it. But when you do come back in to de-winterize and come in for the season, you'll definitely want to turn this back on. It also houses the hot water heater, which is right here. And then I'm also going to show you where the valves are that I've talked already. I'll have a picture on here that'll tell you where those valves should be all the time. So as we move around the RV, this cabinet holds your 2 propane tanks, and both of them are just about full. So you're going to get most of the summer in those before those need to be filled. This is one side of what we call the basement for all your storage needs. And I've shown you this before, but these comes way out, as you can see, to add all kinds of storage and make access to this very, very easy. And it's just a connection like that. This is your furnace. City water connection, that's where your water hose will go to. And this is your sewer flusher, which I showed you when we cleaned out the sewer to clean out the black tank. This particular door right here is what we house and what we use for the chairs. And we're certainly leaving you 4 or 5 chairs for you guys to use if you'd like to. Obviously, you can use the storage for anything you want. This particular panel is just the back side of the refrigerator. The tube that's running out of there, that just allows water that builds up inside the refrigerator to drain out. And then this particular cabinet is the cabinet that we store the electrical cord, which is right here, is supposed to go in there. I don't do that. It's the cord is very large and it's very cumbersome. So what I do is I roll the cord up and I actually store it into this bin right here. So you'll know where it is when you need to plug back in for next season. You won't need to mess with this in any way, shape, or form, but this is the hydraulic pump and motor that houses the hydraulics that open and close the slides, the 2 main slides. I put a mark here. This is the hydraulic fluid once the slides are closed. And then when you open them, this mark is where the hydraulic fluid will go to, because it goes into the system and it will drain down and it'll stay there. So I just keep an eye on those marks just to make sure that I don't have any hydraulic fluid leak anywhere in the system, which I have not had in 5 years. As we go around here, this is again just a little storage cabinet. I have the cable line running through here and up inside here that goes into the interior TV. But what I actually use this for mainly is the slide stops that you saw, that I actually, the locks that I put in on the slides when we winterize. This is where I store them. But of course you can use this for anything you want. And then as we go here, this is just the other side of that basement. As you can see, I'm leaving you all kinds of goodies, all kinds of adhesives, some slide stop, some acetone, some mineral spirits, denatured alcohol, all kinds of sprays and silicones that I use, periodically to maintain this RV. And this here is your hot water tank. So, and that's it.